It up. Hey, Shalom, Israel. We are the Isupk. Started out in 1 West, 125th Street in Harlem, New York, under command of Jenna Yohana. And we are not affiliated with no other Hebrew Israelite group on the planet Earth. Hey, this is Isupk Kansas City again. This is Isupk Kansas City, man. If you are in any surrounding areas in the metro area, check us out. We are in the building. We are in this place, man. You understand? So come get down with the real priests and prophets of the Lord as we serve the Lord's people and teach them to bring them back to keep the statutes, laws, and commandments of the Most High God. We are the real true priests and prophets of the Lord. You understand? Not your Christian pastors, not your Muslim imams, not any of those so-called religious groups or any other so-called Hebrew Israelite groups are authorized to be the priests and prophets of the Most High, man. With that being said, this class, Salakia everybody, this class here is actually supposed to the title is all messed up, but I'm gonna fix it real quick if I can. The title should actually read, "Who should blacks, Hispanics, and natives vote for?" Because of course everybody is in the uproar about Joe Biden. Everybody is waiting and anticipating for Trump to get down. So we gonna break this down for black people, Hispanic people, and Native Indian people. You know what I'm saying? Let me go back. Let's go. We're gonna say, so like everybody, give me just a second. Of course, you know what I'm saying, the voting don't happen for a while. You know what I'm saying? I think we got till November, is it? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Yeah, November. We don't have to vote. There's no voting until November. But in any fashion, I hear so many crazy things, man, being said by black people, man. I hear so much craziness being said by Hispanics about voting for, Joe Biden, voting for, Trump. You know what I mean? And you could only you could only you could only understand one thing about all those people who are so riled up and can't wait to vote to get the next what I like to say is oppressor, the next oppressor in, you know what I'm saying, in office. What you're going to understand about these people is that they have no understanding of the oppression, hence the term oppression, of the oppression, of the slaughter, of the systematic racism that blacks, Hispanics, and natives have faced here in America. They have no historical connection to their forefathers and the things that they went through. At the time of Jim Crow, the time of slavery and sharecropping, you know what I'm saying, with the, redlining and all of the things that they did, man, to hold us into a third class citizen status. You understand? All of these things were done to us systematically, man. You know what I mean? And it only works if we still believe in a system that they created. You understand? Like, this system here has been flawed from its inception. I mean, come on, let's understand. At the time and signing of, you know what I'm saying, their constitution here in America, blacks were considered 2/3 of a man. So, when 1776 was going on, we were still in cages. We were still getting our backs beat. We were still being unalived by people who forced us to work 23, 22 hours a day in the heat of the South. You understand? Like picking cotton. You understand? In the heat of the Caribbeans. You know what I'm saying? Raising sugar cane. In the heat of, Colombia and Cuba, you know, picking coffee. All of the things we did, man, resulted in a very, very bad psychological trauma. You understand, that has happened to us. One of the terms we use to describe that psychological trauma that's happened to us called Stockholm syndrome, because black people, Hispanic people, and Native Indian people have all resorted back to loving our oppressor, loving our slave master, loving those who beat and pummeled, you understand, and unalived our women and our children. They've done so much to destroy the men who are supposed to be the leaders and protectors of the blacks, Hispanics, and natives. They've done so much to tear apart the families, the fabric that makes us a nation. They've done their due diligence. They have their think tanks that they've used to come up with all sorts of ideas, all sorts of designs and mastery to keep us disenfranchised. And our people, it is our duty, man, to become aware. It is our duty to seek out the history of our forefathers and ancestors. Let's not just talk that spiritual garbage and nonsense when it's time to sound enlightening. You know what I mean? We love to talk that, the vibrations and the aura, the vibe. We love to talk that, then we bring up the ancestors. I'm doing this for my ancestors. Do you know what your ancestors went through? Do you care to know? You understand? Because one thing about this is this, and I'm not trying to use this to boast or brag of myself because I'm nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just using this as a reference to why I ended up in the truth, man, under Commander Johnny Hanna. One of the reasons why I ended up here was because I felt, and of course, she's my grandmother is the topic that I'm going to, speak on real quick. She raised me, man. You know what I'm saying? My mother and father were, incarcerated, shortly after my birth. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother raised me from 10 days old. You know what I'm saying? I was in her care. You know what I'm saying? I was born on the run. I was born in a funeral home. You understand me? Where you go to die. That's where I was giving birth. So if that's metaphorical poetry. You know what I mean? To be born where men go to die. You understand? So, with that being said, my grandmother put a lot into raising me. And I see how devoted she was to the Christian church. I saw how devoted she was to her role in the church. You understand? I seen how devoted she was to reading her Bible. But nonetheless, shalom sis. But nonetheless, she died. And she didn't die of natural causes. She died suffering from cancer. One of the number one illnesses black people suffer here in America under oppression. She suffered from cancer and passed. You know what I'm saying? Not Salaki. I didn't mean to say she died. But she passed. Was unalive due to cancer. So with that being said, I really did honor that lady for her sacrifice that she showed me You understand? For what she did to raise me. So I knew that that kind of a woman was special. You understand? But to a certain extent. I didn't believe everything that my grandmother did was right. But I did understand that she had a certain type of thing about her. So with that being said, I knew she stayed in that Bible. But when I would go into church, my young mind could catch that something just wasn't right in the Christian church. And with that being said, I decided that when I saw Commandant Junior Hanna teaching and blazing the Bible on the street, that I would go and investigate. You understand, the Bible. I would go and investigate the history of my grandparents, of my forefathers, of my ancestors, so that I could know what it is I should be doing. And when I did that investigation, I found out that we, blacks, Hispanics, and natives, are the biblical Hebrew Israelites of the Bible. We are the Lord's chosen people. And with that being said, I understood that the Christian church was set in place to keep us disillusioned, to keep us unaware of what should be, how we should be, how we should operate, how we should take care and love one another, how we should deal with our brothers and our sisters. I realized at that point that I was being fooled. You know, I loved everybody like like the Christian church tell you. I didn't, I loved the oppressor. You understand? I loved everybody. But I surely came to understand after being in this truth that God doesn't even love everybody. That God hates those who hates him. That God actually is a man of war, not a man of love and just want to hug and kiss everybody. That's not the man of the Bible. That's not the God of the Bible. And with that being said, I understood that there was some kind of big error going on in the Christian church. For why was they teaching me that? Why were they trying to teach me to love everybody? Why were they trying to teach me to love everybody and everything? You know what I'm saying? Why? Why did they want to do that? Because they were simply misleading me. They were simply trying to keep me from the truth, which did not last long. Did not last long at all. Because once Commander Junior Hanna teaches you, man, you understand me. Once you hit the floor running with Commander Junior Hanna, you're going to open a floodgate of wealth and knowledge. You understand? You're going to open up all the history of your people. Salaki, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 more second. Just gotta add some things in here. All right. Bam. All right, that's what I wanted to do. The water, sis. The water. Got some of that good strong, man. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, that hit. All right. Now, so like I said, man, once I got in here under Commander Junior Hanna, I understood, man, that the Christian church is not for blacks, Hispanics, and natives. In fact, the Christian church is a made-up place of lies, man. It has nothing to do with the Bible, and in fact, it makes you worse off in life. It destroys you further. That is the problem with our people right now, and that's why they're so willing to vote. The pastor's teaching you and telling you that you must go vote. That's ironic that the pastor would be teaching you this, because there are laws in the Bible about voting. I want to tell blacks, Hispanics, and natives something, man. There is a law, there is a breakdown, there is a scenario that is kin to damn near everything you go through in life in the Bible. You want to figure out how to eat, how to spend your money, how to make money. If you want to figure out how to fix your family, if you want to figure out how a marriage is supposed to go, how you should treat your daughters, how you should treat your sons, how you should treat your friends, how you should treat your brothers, it's in the Bible. And what black people have to stop doing is reading the Bible. That's what we got to stop doing. You know why I say we got to stop reading it? It's because that's all we're doing. You have to be taught the Bible before you can read it. You have to be taught it. And then once you're taught it, you must live it. That's the main thing, is that we must live the Bible. We don't read the Bible to break it open so I can make somebody feel like they're less of a person because I say, hey, look, you ain't supposed to do that. Hey, look, sis, that's wrong that you dress that way. You understand? Hey, I can have multiple wives. That's not why I crack the Bible open. You understand? That's not why I do that, so that I can downgrade my brothers and my sisters. The reason why we crack this Bible open is so it reminds us daily of how we are supposed to live, so that it gives me the solutions to the issues and the problems that I may face, that my family may face, that my children may face, that my brothers may face. You understand? Because I, as a man of blacks, Hispanics, and Native of the nation of Israel, I am a man. I am responsible for my nation of people, man. It's my duty to raise them up. It's my duty to protect them. But it starts right here in my own household. It starts right here. I must first teach my wives. I must first teach my children. I have to teach. I have to protect. That's what providing is. You understand? Providing a hedge of protection. Providing guidance. I know a lot of you sisters don't like to hear that. Y'all thought it was all about a man's dollar. He ain't got no job. He ain't got this. He ain't got that. Let me tell you something. All of black people are one paycheck away from being homeless. All of us. And all of you that claim you got businesses and you got money, you're still one check away. All it takes is for you to slip up with them taxes, claim them taxes the wrong way, and them auditors will be rolling in there to take everything. You know what I mean? All it takes is one scam because you ain't got the proper foundation. You know what I'm saying? All it takes is one little itty bitty person to creep through and scam you. And it's over. You're not backed by all these securities and insurances, man, like the major corporations. So stop getting on your high horse simply because you have a business. You understand? Remember this. Get all you can get and store up all you can store. But it won't save your life. You know what saves your life? Following the Most High God of the Bible. Following Christ. Obeying the Most High. Let me take that back. Obeying the Most High of the Bible and following Christ. That's what saves your life. You understand? So you could be rich as all to get out. Won't save you with them bombs. You ain't got enough money with them oppressors doing. They putting all them they taking and putting all them fallout shelters in the ground, 12 feet below the ground, 20 feet below the ground, trying to save themselves. Ooh-wee, they trying to save themselves. You know why they doing that, don't you? They know the Most High is on his way back. I know y'all think it's all about the war. But a lot of these oppressors know that their time has come. You understand? Right now, Russia just started releasing publicly the Russian icons, in which Commander Junior Hanna has been teaching from the book of the Russian icons since 1969. And when I'm talking about the Russian icons are the biblical
depictions of the Israelites and all of the saints in the Bible, including Christ and the angels. And guess what? They're all black. They're all so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native American. And the reason why I say so-called, because those are the names they're given today. But the earth is starting to open up and help the woman. Who's the woman? Israel. You'll find that in the book of Revelations where it says the earth shall help the woman and she will swallow up the water. What is that water that the woman is running from? There's a flood of lies. Those are lies, and the earth is swallowing it up. Well, how is she swallowing it up? Because she's opening up. Well, how is she opening up? You're finding all of the artifacts. And when the artifacts come out, when the pictures come out, when the carvings come out, the truth comes out. So the earth is helping the woman, which is Israel. You understand? But of course, that's for another breakdown, another time. But again, this class here is about voting. You understand? Because we've been so destroyed, we still believe in the presidency. We still believe that Joe Biden or Trump can do something for black people. What do we need to see? What history do we need to look at? I got some examples for you. Just in case you don't know any history, you don't know any examples. I'm not even going far back in history. I'm going to stay in this or the generation before, maybe 2 generations back. I'll stay right up in their lane and give you some history of presidents, man. Just a couple. And I'm not even going to give you many. I'm just going to give you some you're familiar with and maybe a couple things you may not be familiar with, if I got time. But guess what? Let's go right into this first. Let's start here. I got a few things pulled up. I'm not going to read these whole articles or anything. I'm just going to jump back into black people's bosom. And when I say jump back into our bosom, I'm talking about I'm going to jump back into the things we held dear to us. Like President Clinton. Oh, man, black people love President Clinton. He played jazz. He smoked weed. He had Monica Lewinsky in there doing who God knows what, you understand, in the Oval Office. Negroes loved that. They just thought, oh, this is a real, he almost black, man. We might as well give him a black card. That's what we thought about President Clinton. You understand? But guess what? President Clinton and his wife, matter of fact, I'll just read it. While we loving him here in America. This is what he was doing to black people. Let me see. Okay. I'm not going to read all of this. I'm going to read just a tad bit of it. So I'm going to jump right in it. The presence of Bill Clinton, who also served as president of the United States together with his wife, who served, oh, my bad, Salagi everybody. I just jumped right in. I did say I was going to jump right in, but I'll at least give you the title. The title of this article is How the Clintons Robbed and Destroyed Hades. So I'm going to skip down a few paragraphs. This was actually written in 2020, but I'm going to skip down a couple paragraphs. The presence of Bill Clinton, who also served as the president of the United States together with his wife, who served as the Secretary of State during Obama's tenure, can be traced back to the 90s. Their interest in Hades are not a new phenomenon. If not, their interest in Hades have almost become irrevocable, entrenched, and have had far-reaching consequences in the lives of ordinary Haitian citizens. Their history with the country dates back to 1975 when they had their honeymoon there. If there is an unpopular couple in Haiti, it definitely has to be the Clintons, for they are held in contempt and in despicable terms. What the Clintons did is unforgivable to the Haitians. The devastating 2010 earthquake left Hades in tatters. The country's economic, the country's economy reeled under the biting and excruciating effects of the earthquake. Because of their history with Hades, the Clintons seized this chance in the entrance of assisting Hades in its times of unparalleled difficulty. But their involvement with the earthquake relief program was the final proof Haitians needed to show that the Clintons' true intentions with the country were to rob it for their own parochial. I can't say that word correctly. I know the word, but I just can't pronounce it. Salakia. Parochial interest. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Interest. Sound right? The water sits. Bill Clinton's influence in Haiti ranges from the 90s agricultural policies in Haiti that destroyed the country's rice industry to the meddling in internal affairs and finally to the earthquake. There is a sense of permanency attached to the Clintons' name as regards to their activities in Haiti, particularly the Clinton Foundation. Now, I just gave you a tad bit of that just to say Clinton pretended to be down with black folks. Oh man, he was down, wasn't he? Down. Now, I know that's just Bill Clinton. You can't say nothing about his wife though, right? Wrong. Bill Clinton's wife was known for her famous speech where she called black children super predators. Now, these things also you can go look up. She called black children super predators and said that they were animals who needed to be brought to heel. Heel is what you do. You tell a dog to heel. Now, remember, I just said to you earlier that at the inception of the American Constitution, we were known as 3/5 of a man. Mm-hmm. Now, here you go from 3/5 of a man, and under Clinton, you become a dog. These are people in the presidency. What are you expecting these types of individuals to do for black people? Oh, rob them. That's all they're going to do. And that's something that I want to tell every black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people. That any time that you have the oppressor speaking as if he's preparing to help you, I want you to grab your wallets and clutch your purses because you are fin to be robbed. You understand that? I know you. How can you just say that? How? Why can you say that? Because Esau, who is the so-called oppressor, the so-called white man, has always, since the time of the Bible, been on the hunt for the blacks and Hispanics man, the black and Hispanic man, the Native Indian man. Just ask the natives. If you don't believe black folks who were enslaved, ask the Native American Indian. He will tell you who the devil is. He will tell you who his oppressor is. If you don't believe us, go down on the border and ask the Hispanic brothers and those children that are on the border in cages. I don't even believe that. I believe they still in cages. I don't believe they've ever been let out. And then now they're creating new laws. Texas is able to enact the law. Missouri is way far from the damn border, and now we're getting ready to enact laws to where if you're an illegal alien, you can be locked away for life. That's right, life. Or until the federal government decides to deport you. That's the option. You get locked up for life. or or be able to be deported. Now, to deport you costs money. To lock you up makes money. I want you to do the math. I want you to do the math. To deport you costs money, but to lock you up makes money. Which one you think they're gonna do? This is the problem that we're having. These are the people that we're trusting in to set us free, to help us out of poverty, to help us out of our financial hardships in America, to help us build foundations that would help raise our children, to teach our children, to educate our children about themselves. These are the people that we're putting our trust in. And then I know black people, I know what you're saying. Well, God dog, well, why don't we just we need to get our people in the office. That's what it's always been. Don't you know? At one time, I want to say it was at 19. This is right after civil rights movement. You started out with roughly about 1,500, black officials in the government. You understand? Shortly after, we here in the 2000s, like 2010, we had about 100,000 to 10. I think maybe 10,000. I'm sorry, Salaki, about 10,000 black officials. What's changed? What opportunities now lie before you that didn't lie before, that wasn't there before? What has changed to better the conditions of the black neighborhood? In fact, I'll tell you what's changed. The gentrification process has increased tenfold. They're rapidly gentrifying these neighborhoods now. It's not taking 5 and 10 years. They're doing it in 2 to 3 now. It's not taking for all the businesses to go down bad. Why? Because we don't own any of the businesses in the neighborhood. They don't have to wait for the mom and pop stores and the restaurants to go down before they come right in and take over. We don't own anything. They're just coming in and making a bid now. They're coming in buying up everything. We own absolutely nothing. And why don't we own anything? Oh, is it because we can't get any help from the banks? Sounds like Jim Crow. Well, it's 2024. We still trying to figure out a way to scam the banks to get the loans to start up businesses. We're trying to figure out a way to get no doc loans. We're trying to figure out how to get $50,000 off of your EIN. We're trying all of these methods to get what our oppressor can just walk in the bank and ask for. We got to jump through hoops. The hoops is flaming too. Don't let me forget to say that. We ain't just jumping through a hoop. We got to jump through a hoop that's too small for our shoulders and clear it and not burn. We got to try not to catch flame jumping through this burning hoop to get $1. And then you wonder why we can't maintain a business past the first 5 years. I'm gonna bring out something else that a lot of black people don't know, because you still thinking that this place is going to change. You're thinking that one day this place is gonna become different and we can all just get along. Ain't that what Rodney King said while they was beating him upside his head? Wasn't he asking for us all to just get along? It never happened, did it? It never ever happened. You understand? I know you might think we get along because you can sleep with the oppressor's daughter, or because you can sleep with the oppressor's son and get married and he pays your bills and and you use his credit score. I know you think that you're now able to be equal and come together, but you still won't be able to ever come together with your oppressor. Now, I have not even brought out one scripture yet, but I will. But I just want to fill you with a couple of little things to get you to understand this, that we're separate, even though it looks like we're together in this society. I know the way they speak to you is we're all together. We're all one big happy nation. But the systems in place are divided against you, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Here's another one. What's a big critical system that everybody should be able to have? If you are a citizen in America, what is a system, what do they call this? A right and a resource that all people should be able to have? Can you mention any resources that you believe all people should have access to who are in the richest country in the world? What is some of the systems or resources that we should be able to access?
Housing and food.
Housing and food. Them are two good ones. I get a sister hand for that. Them ain't the ones I'm looking for, but those are actually two good ones. Because if you got housing, you got shelter, you can try to move around. You know what I'm saying? You can get in out of the goddamn cold. You got a place to sleep to protect you and your family. If you got food, you can sustain life. But after you get those two, what is another right you think that people should have if they are in the richest country in America?
Freedom.
Freedom? That's another one. Freedom. That's a right. It should be. But we know we ain't free, that's for sure. You understand? But I'll give you one more guess at it. If anybody online can tell me, give me a couple of answers of what may be a right and a resource that we should be allotted as us being citizens in the richest country on earth, man.
Part of financial institutions, or be able to utilize them.
Utilize the financial institution. That's another good one too, because we like I just explained, we just can't seem to get a loan to do any damn thing. You understand? We just can't get money to do nothing.
Education.
But who?
Education.
Education. That's another one. We should be able to have free education. But when I say that word free, that should really pop in your head. What it is that we should have. What do we need to sustain here in America? To sustain anywhere, what do you need that should be free? I'll give it to you for time's sake. Healthcare.
Didn't think about that.
I know, because those are some of the things black people can't think about. The budget don't allow you.
Right.
The hospital could be 3 blocks from your house. And you ain't got a car and you fall on in a serious emergency where you must be picked up by the damn ambulance. The ambulance is going to hook you up to oxygen and take you 3 blocks. That's going to cost you $800 to $1,200 just for that ride. And they didn't do nothing but give you oxygen. They may have put a Band-Aid on you, maybe. Right. It may hook a heart monitor on you where it took those little stickers. They had to peel some stickers and stick them on you. And then waste some gas. Because when you got there, they got you in the emergency room, then that's going to cost you $600-$700. Depending on how severe your emergency is. Don't let them have to give you some kind of medication or some saline. Or, God forbid they got to put something in your IV. Good damn night. You looking at upwards of $3,000 by the time they hook that IV up.
And that's just for in the emergency room.
So like it, right? Would you say again?
That's just for in the emergency room. They charge you separate for the doctor that saw you.
Right. Damn right. Shit, I'm Salagia. That's how they do. They are going to wring a poor person dry before they can even pull up to the damn emergency room. Before you can get out the damn gurney or the wheelchair, you already broke for the next 3 months trying to pay. You know what I'm saying? That's how bad it is. Healthcare. So I'm gonna play this little snippet real quick here. I want people to hear this, man. This is something that needs to be heard. because we have no clue. We have no clue, man, just how terrible America is. We still think voting is going to help this situation, but it's truly not. Now, I want you all to be aware. This is gonna be devils talking about devils, oppressors talking about oppressors. But I want you to listen good to the information given here. All right. So here we go. I'm gonna turn it up for you, and we're gonna rock it out. Let's go.
It's Tom Harmon. He's the host of the Tom Harmon program. That's on Sirius XM. It's on radio stations across the country. It's on Free Speech TV. But he's also a New York Times bestselling author. And his new book is called The Hidden History of American Healthcare. Tom, welcome back to the show, brother.
Hey, Cenk, it's great to be here with you, and it's so nice to see you again.
It's great to see you, man. All right, so, Tom, let's talk history as we often do. Most of the developed nations have single-payer health care, so what that means is public health insurance, right? Now, some go beyond that, the UK does, et cetera, but we don't. Why did we diverge from everyone else? How did that happen?
It really began in the 1880s, 1890s, when medicine became a thing. And there was this guy named Frederick Ludwig Hoffman who came over here from Germany. And he was a young man. He was 17, in fact, when he came over, and was a numbers genius. And he hooked up with the Prudential Life Insurance Company, ended up being a vice president. And he was the guy who figured out that there was an association, a statistical association between working in a cotton mill and having lung problems, asbestos and mesothelioma, smoking and lung cancer. He published on that in the 1910s, in the 1890s and the 1910s. And diet and cancer. In fact, his book on the association between a high processed food diet and cancer is still in print. He's been dead since 1946, but his book is still around. So he's really smart in these things. And so he married this Southern belle from Georgia who was from a racist plantation family. And so he ran the numbers on black people and found that black people were dying, dropping like flies, more likely to be sick, more likely to die of pretty much everything. And concluded, which was the general consensus at the time among a lot of white people in the South, this is again in the 1890s, that black people were genetically inferior. And in 1896, he published a book called Race, Tendencies, and Traits of the American Negro, in which he lays out all the numbers, and then he concludes that if we simply avoided allowing black people to have any access to health care, that within 2 or 3 generations, the whole race would die out, and that would solve...
Now, hold up. I got to play that part for y'all again. Because these people are diabolical. You understand me? This is what I meant when I say think tanks. They have people who gather information simply to provide the answer to you. To simply find out a way to get rid of you like a rodent. Like roaches. Like rats. They are trying to exterminate you in this place. Now remember, this is talking about why they did not allow universal health care in America, because America could pay for health care. All the doctors, all the top surgeons, neurosurgeons, all the disorder specialists, all of these people could still get the type of money that they are getting paid today. And probably even more if the government was paying for health care. So it's not a thing of could we, it's just a thing of would we. So I'm going to go back just a tad bit so we can get some more of that. So we can hear that again.
He published a book called Race, Tendencies, and Traits of the American Negro, in which he lays out all the numbers, and then he concludes that if we simply avoided allowing black people to have any access to health care, that within 2 or 3 generations, the whole race would die out, and that would solve the race problem in America. Now, it sounds kind of crazy when I just lay it out like that right now, but this led to a whole bunch of things. By the 1920s, this was referred to as scientific racism. He was testifying about it before Congress. When Teddy Roosevelt, 1912, proposed a national health care system, people said no because black people will get it. When Franklin Roosevelt proposed a national health care system, it was the same thing. We don't want black people to get it. When Truman tried it in 47, same thing. Don't want black people to get it. Right up until 1965, Senator Stennis, the Dixiecrats in the South, was quoting Hoffman, who was by then dead, but is still very famous in this field, as saying this. We have to figure out a way to keep black people from using Medicare. This is when they were passing Medicare, and the way that they came up with was to have a 20% hole, a gap in Medicare, so that you had to pay 20% of your doctor's bill and your hospital bill, and that would discourage poor black people from showing up at the hospitals. I mean,
again, there's a reason why you're poor and in the ghetto. It doesn't have to do with your education. It doesn't have to do with your job you picked. It is because they have systematically put you in the position of a poor person. Did you just not hear that they even operated around the fact? This is how they came up with the healthcare. They utilized the fact of your economic condition to orchestrate the way that they were going to make up the Medicaid plans. They intentionally asked for 20% copay to discourage black people from going to the doctor. Now you wondering why black men all over don't ever want to go to the hospital. They got it honest. They get it hereditary from their great-grandfathers. Their grandfathers. They didn't want to go. Why? Because he didn't have the money for it. You come out of a lifestyle of being a sharecropper to some guy that's probably now older, and you trying to live life as a doctor or a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be very, very hard to do, to come from being a sharecropper, the family of a sharecropper, to being doctors and lawyers from that time, from what did he say, from 1912 to 1965? 1965 is when they started doing that. So that's about 40 years time. You know what I'm saying? About 40, 43 years time in order for you to have progressed from being a sharecropper in 1912 into the new seed, the new generation of children trying to become more than a poor person. In a place that is not going to help you. In a place that is built to destroy you. Now that you're just scraping by and you need health care, you got to pay 20% copay. You wondering why Negroes don't want to go to the doctor. Negroes weren't going to the doctor because they couldn't afford it. That's why Grandmama and them made all them remedies at home. See, y'all think that's some old Negro magic. It ain't just old Negro magic. We boiled them onions. We put that whiskey in that tea. We put that honey and that lemon in that tea because we couldn't afford to go to the hospital. You understand me? The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Now remember, I just read to you a story of how Hillary Clinton went to Haiti and destroyed them. When it came time for them to need health care and to rebuild their structure, rebuild their infrastructure down there in Haiti after the earthquake, they went down and took advantage of them people. Now, if you want to know more into that, you go look that up. But that's your presidents. And then he said in 65, when the senators and the presidents and all these people wanted to come up and try to make something happen that you possibly could get a crumb of it, they said, no, black people gonna get it. Roosevelt, those were presidents that tried to give you free health care. But people said, no, the black people gonna get it. Your presidents cannot save you. This place cannot save blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian people. Your vote will not save you. And I'm going to read it for you. So, Lockie, give me just a second here. Darn it. Sister, can you do me a favor and grab, I need that charger from downstairs, if you would, Baba Kashaw. We're going to go to Lamentations, the book of Lamentations. Yeah, if you want to know about the struggles black people went through in the Bible, boy, Lamentations is a good one to go to. But yeah, this is spot on. They cannot save you. America cannot help you. Your elected officials, your government, your Senate, your goddamn your mayors. None of these people can help black people. You understand me? I'm gonna show you who can help black people. I'm going to show you who blacks, Hispanics, and natives should vote for. I'm going to show you before this class is over. But this is Lamentations 4. And we're going to go to verse... I think I want... verse 17, Salakia. This is Lamentations chapter 4, verse 17. As for us, this is speaking about the Israelites, blacks, Hispanics, and natives. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. Meaning, we have not stopped looking for a worthless help. Like, they can't help us. There's nothing that they're going to do to actually fix the conditions of black people. You think Section 8 is fixing the conditions of black people? It doesn't fix the conditions of black people. Do you think welfare is fixing the conditions of black people? That doesn't fix the conditions. Black people are not even the number one people on welfare. We're just the face of it. It doesn't fix us at all. You think Planned Parenthood was to help fix black people? What parenthood did it plan? It didn't plan anything. It simply was a spot where you can get rid of the responsibility of being a parent. It was a spot where you could undo decisions you made as a young adult or as a full-grown person. You could unalive your child that has been inside of your body growing. That's what you could do. For it's a place for selfish men who did not want to rear the child that they laid down and made with another woman. That wasn't help to you. Sisters talking about, I can't do it right now. I'm trying to do my career. I'm trying to become a lawyer. I got to go to college. So you walk in there and unalive your child, your seed, your fruit of your body. Men talking about, oh, I'm trying to go to the NBA. I'm trying to be a rapper right now. I got to travel. I can't be locked down with no baby and no baby mama. You thought Planned Parenthood was help? It was not. It was genocide. I just told you, anytime you think your oppressor is helping you, hide your wallet and clutch your purse. Because the game is coming. The trap is coming. Welfare. I've always told brothers and sisters, man, from early on, say welfare backwards. So like it says, you mind doing it for me? Say welfare, the word welfare backwards. Say those words backwards.
Farewell.
Farewell. Why do I say that? Because if you were listening in that interview the man just gave, that devil that wrote that report and wrote that book, he also showed how, or did the research on how processed foods and cigarettes and what was the other, what's that stuff, the paint that's in the lead? Asbestos. The asbestos and the food, the processed food and the cigarettes would kill us and give it's linked to cancer. That's what we get a ton of on that welfare. Get a ton of processed food. Got Hot Pockets and Pop Tarts and bologna and would you say strudels?
No, it was Roman noodles.
Roman noodles. Oh, we all black folks. That's a staple in the ghetto. A pack of noodles with all that damn sodium on it. And wonder why we got high blood pressure and hypertension and everything else, man. All of these things comes as punishments for our disobedience to God. I know you don't look at it like that. You're like, so the reason why I got to eat Roman noodles, you don't just eat Roman noodles, you die from it. That sodium in them Roman noodles, man, is going to give you high hypertension and high hypertension. What is hypertension? High blood pressure. That's what it's going to give you. You know what I'm saying? That's what your problem is going to end up being inadvertently. You're going to look up, I made it through. I didn't get killed by the time I was 21 in the ghetto. 35, you're going to find out you got cancer. The people are getting younger every day that are coming up with cancer. You know why that is? It's because the oppressor has think tanks. The oppressor has geniuses that started back in 1890 researching on your demise. So you think because you got a chance to write a name on a piece of paper to put him in a place of power that you're going to somehow escape the wrath of these people, the hatred of these people? Wait a minute. Matter of fact, let me pull that. Because black people think we just make this up. They just think we just make up who Esau is in the Bible and what his thing is against us. We'll show you. I'm going to go pull that up right now. We're going to go to the book of Genesis. And I think I want to say the 26th chapter. It might be the 26th or the 27th chapter. Let's see.
Sorry, so
Genesis,
Genesis?
Genesis, and I want to go to where Isaac was about to pass. Matter of fact, Isaac he had passed, and the brothers Jacob and Esau were in mourning. That's where I want. So it might be 28. It might be 28. Okay, I got it. It's we'll start at this is Genesis 27. It was in 27. Genesis 27 and 41. Now again, Esau is the so-called white man on the earth, and Jacob is the 12 tribes of Israel. You understand? Jacob is blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Now, and Esau hated Jacob. Let me spell that word for you. Hated. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother my brother Jacob. Verse 42. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob her younger son and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau as touching thee, talking about speaking about you, doeth comfort him, Salakia, doeth comfort himself. Salakia. I don't know why I'm reading like this. I'll read that part again. Behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doeth comfort himself, proposing to kill thee. So his mother Rebekah warned Jacob that your brother, he's promising to kill you. So guess what? Verse 43. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice, arise, flee thou to Laban, my brother in Haran. Now, what I just read to you, because I'll skip a verse. What I just read to you was the promise of the so-called oppressor on this earth and what he promised to do unto us. In the first book of the Bible. You understand? I'll keep reading. Verse 44. And tarry with him a few days until thy brother's fury turn away. Verse 45. Until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he forget that which thou hast done to him. Then I will send and fetch thee from thence. Why should I be deprived also of you both in one day? Now, I want you to know something. Rebekah didn't send for Jacob. She said when his anger be done, she would send for Jacob. You understand me? But she never did that. And we're going to confirm it with another precept. I'm going to go to a precept to confirm the hatred that Esau has for Jacob. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus, the book of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. We're going to go to Ecclesiasticus, not Ecclesiastes, but Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12. And we're going to go to verse 10, I believe. Yes, verse 10 I want. Now, at that time, when his brother decided that he was going to kill him, what was Esau to Jacob? Esau became an enemy to Jacob. And vice versa. Jacob was an enemy to Esau. So I want you to understand this verse very well. This ain't talking about your brothers of your nation. And the reason why I'm saying it like that, and so I know a lot of you fake Israelites and you Christians will go back and say, but Jacob and Esau were brothers. No, they were not. The Lord separated them in the womb of Rebekah. The Lord said, 2 nations and 2 manner of people are in thy womb. He separated them before they ever came out of the birth canal. So no, they were not brothers, though they will be known as brothers by the normal way. But the Lord is saying that they are not the same people. If this is your brother, this is your people. But the Lord himself said 2 manner of people. And 2 nations are in thy bowels. That's what he said. And that's it. You can find that in Genesis, the 25th chapter. You understand? So with that being said, let's read this verse. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy. Never. Now, am I saying that Esau couldn't do some good stuff? He couldn't be a freedom rider? Am I saying he couldn't be one of the people, what were they called, the ones that helped, the abolitionists? Am I saying he couldn't have been those people that helped us to the Underground Railroad and hid us from the slave catchers? I'm not saying that ain't possible. I'm not saying that some of them somewhere along the way couldn't have helped us. But this is what the Bible says. Never trust thine enemy. Meaning this, oh, they're going to help you, cool. But don't put your guard down. Don't ever put your guard down. Because this part of the verse, for like if iron rusteth, So if I'd have left this ain't iron, but this is a nice piece of steel. If I was to left this out, leave this out over the years, and let it rain and come back and rain and come back, I would come back and it would be porous holes or gashes or craters in this metal. And it would be rust. Now, one thing about it is that I could take sandpaper and smooth those craters out. But nonetheless, the rust would still be on the blade. And if I set it back down again, that whole blade will start to get covered with that rust. Once again, it'll repopulate like cancer onto that blade. So this is how you understand that scripture. Never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Meaning like, can you totally get that iron out of there? I mean, so like, can you totally get that rust out of this knife? No, you cannot. You can hit it with the acid. You can dunk it in plating. You can scrub this thing till it's, I'm talking about as thin as you can get it. But once that rust is on that blade, you're not going to get it off. And once that hatred that Esau came upon him for his brother, you cannot get it off. So that's the reason why the Lord brought that scripture out, is to show you, never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Never trust him, man. That ain't going nowhere. His hatred for you ain't going nowhere, black man. Now you sitting up there talking about Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump. We got to get Donald Trump in office. Are we still rolling? Let me see here. Are we still rolling? Look like I might have froze or something. Okay, we still rolling. We talking.
YouTube is good.
Are we on YouTube too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Most High Christ. Give it up. I didn't even realize we were still on YouTube. I thought the system was messed up. We was just running off of Facebook. But with that being said, everybody, oh, Donald Trump, he want to help black people. He want to help black people. How soon we forget? He was kicking it with everybody. Y'all forgot when he got elected how he treated them black folks that was up in them rallies. Remember what he told the police? He said, hey, you ain't got to bow their heads to put them in the police car. Just throw them and let them hit their heads. Punch them into the police car. He said all kind of crap. He said, punch them and get them in there. He said they don't need you ain't got to guard their head, because you know how the cop put you in there. He kind of hold your head so you don't hit your head on the top of the door jam. He said, you don't need to do that. Just throw them in the car. The hell with them. He said, the hell with them. Then that sister and that brother got their tails kicked at that rally. That was because of Trump. Trump told them people to do that. Trump knows damn well he does not like black people no more than Joe Biden does. And no, Joe Biden does not like black people. Let me help you out, black people. Kamala Harris is not a black woman. She has dark skin, but she is not a black woman. Black people in America today suffer from something called colorism. We associate everybody of dark color as our people. Well, I can tell you one thing. A lot of Negroes understand that black people ain't Africans. And Kamala Harris is not a black person. Kamala Harris ain't even an African. Kamala Harris is an East Indian. So she is not a Negro neither. So I understand. Now, it goes back. I can keep talking about these brothers and sisters. I mean, so-called brothers and sisters, because we are so caught up on what we think our people is, and it's not. They're not. And then we're so distraught that they did nothing for us. Nipsey Hussle. That's just like Nipsey Hussle. Everybody, oh, Nipsey Hussle. He was a gangbanger. And he was not black. Nipsey Hussle was Italian. He did not do nothing for black people. Guess what he was going to do? He had a whole ceremony right before he died about what he was going to do for the Italian people. And then after he died, his mama contributed everything to his Italian people. That's why they corrupt your values about how you think about black people. So that if you did ever come above living paycheck to paycheck, you wouldn't even think to help your people. Why do you think Oprah runs to Africa with all her money? Oprah is a black woman, but she runs to Africa and builds schools and give out all this help and wealth to help the Africans. What the devil is wrong with her? When have they ever done anything for her? What have they ever done for anybody besides their stinking selves? They've never done anything for black people, man. But yet and still, this is who we run to. So like I said, black people so forget. Hey, let me pull this one up. What about Trump? Where was he at when it was time to say, man, you know, you a racist, man. You know, this is what you did. Everybody forgets this decade-old housing discrimination case. People forget about this. The decades-old housing discrimination case. The Justice Department sued Donald Trump, his father, Fred, and Trump management in order to obtain a settlement in which Trump and his father would promise not to discriminate. The case eventually was settled 2 years later after Trump tried to countersue the Justice Department for $100 million for making false statements. Those allegations were dismissed by the court. So him talking about they making false statements, that shit got dismissed by the court. Why did they get dismissed? Because they wasn't false. And these are the statements that they made. Donald Trump started his career back in 1973 being sued by the Justice Department for racial discrimination because he would not rent apartments in one of his developments to African Americans. And he made sure that the people who worked for him understood that was the policy. Clinton said on Monday night. So, of course, you know, these politicians, they bringing up dirt on each other. So, Clinton said that. Trump responded to Clinton by emphasizing, this is what he had to say about it. That case was settled with no admission of guilt. He didn't say, I ain't racist. He said the court didn't say I was guilty of it. I just settled out of court. What is mostly what happens when people say, what is really the outcome when people settle out of court? They don't want to go through court proceedings. They don't want to have to pay more when they get found guilty. So it's better to just cough up this money now. You're admitting to guilt by settling out of court, dum-dum. With that being said, yes, when I was very young, I went into my father's company. He had a real estate company in Brooklyn and Queens, Trump said. And we, along with many, many other companies throughout the country, it was a federal lawsuit we were sued. We settled the suit with no admissions of guilt. The lawsuit was based on evidence gathered by testers of the New York City Human Rights Division, which alleged that black people who went to Trump buildings were told that there were no apartments available while white people were offered units. Man, come on. We don't gotta play with that. We understand exactly what's going on. He don't want you Negroes in there. It's not that hard. Now, I'm not gonna just say Trump is racist towards black folks. Trump is off the chain. I remember when COVID came, he called it the Chinese COVID or something. He was calling it Kung Flu. Y'all remember that? He was clowning. So he's racist against anybody, which I ain't mad at that, brother. Salagi, not brother, devil. If you want to be racist against these people, go right ahead. If you want it just to be you and your people, I feel the same way. It's just that I can't be racist because I don't have the power. I don't have the financial means. I don't have the control of systems in which people live by to define racism. And that's what a lot of people don't understand about these black brothers in this Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. We're not racist. We may be prejudiced, though. Prejudice means to prefer your people over everybody else. That I do. I prefer blacks, Hispanics, and natives. If I'm going to argue with somebody, let it be my Hispanic brother. If I'm going to be up in somebody's building living and I don't want to really be there, let it be my native Indian brother. But for me to go to somebody who is an enemy to me, whose wickedness rusteth like iron and can't be wiped away, I'd be a damn fool to go up in there in a Trump building. I don't want to go to the Trump building. I want to be in the barrio, in the ghetto, in the damn reservation with my people. That's where I'd rather be. That's where I feel safest. I can roll around with my doors are locked in the hood. When I get out there out there in the suburbs, I lock my doors. Also, like the brother said, the classes sound is low. I lock my doors. That's what I do. I can't go for it. I locks my doors. You hear me? The water, sir. The water, Officer Malak, if you can hear me. But that's what I'd rather do. I'd rather live amongst my people and have issue. Because I know we can work it out and get along and won't have to be hatred. In fact, we'll find newfound relationships between us. But with these oppressors, man, you can't trust them. Oh, we're going to help you. We're going to help you right out of here. We're going to help you right out this door. So that's Trump, right? So I still haven't even gotten to who should we vote for. But we're going to go into one more before we get done. Because who is the first president? Well, they say he ain't the first. They say he's the second. There was a president before him. But President Lincoln, right? Wasn't it Lincoln? Am I mistaken? Huh? There was the first president? Or they say it was. Who was the first president?
Just first president general or first president that did something?
First president of the United States.
No, it wasn't Lincoln.
Who was the first president of the United States? I think he was the second.
Yeah.
Slovakia. What the heck? I just realized what that says. Who was the first second? You said who? George Washington. Why do I got Lincoln? Why am I saying Lincoln? George Washington. I'm tripping. Okay, so who was the second president? John Adams.
Yes.
That's who it was. I know that one. I don't know why now. Now, when the hell was Lincoln president? I'm tripping now. Why did I say he was the first president? Where did I even get that from? I don't understand. I feel some kind of way now. Like, how you just gonna pull that out? He was the first president. Now I'm teaching a class. Now, Salagi, everybody. Teachers make mistakes too. I just don't care. I was really saying it with confidence too. He was the first president.
I think I know where you got it from.
What?
Abraham Lincoln was the first president to be assassinated. Maybe that's what you think.
Maybe is that what I thought?
Yeah, unfortunately, he was the first to be assassinated.
Maybe that's where I got the first. I don't know, but I know George Washington is the first president, though. Why would I say that? And then I know, oh my God, I don't get it. Anyway, Salaki, everybody. He was the first president to be assassinated. But what number president was Lincoln? I think he was like 15 or something like that.
I want to say 16.
He was 16. He was the 16th president. It just popped up as soon as you said that. Okay, there we go. All right. So, boom. Your 16th president, the one who was charged with the task of saving the Union. Or, my bad, should I say freeing the slaves? The reason why I say that is because of this. It is historically told in error that Lincoln is the only one who cared enough to free the slaves. But Lincoln did not free the slaves to help the slaves. In fact, he didn't want to free the slaves. Historical. little historical record so that you understand presidents have never worked for you Negroes, ever. So, if I could, because everybody thinks he fought the Civil War, he went to war in the Civil War to fight to release the slaves. It's true, he did go fight to release the slaves, but what was his motive? Was his motive for his love for slaves? Was it his love for black people? Was it his disdain for their treatment under their slave masters? Was it his disdain for their all of their inventions and things being stole for them and being patented by people who did not deserve the credit? Was it that? No, it was not. I'll tell you what it was. I'm going to read it for you. This is what Lincoln had to say about his reasoning or what he would or could have done differently instead of freeing the slaves. He said, if I could save the Union, wait a minute, the topic here is saving the Union. This is what the context of this statement is. If I could save the Union without freeing any slaves, I would do it. Damn. So that cuts that. He didn't free the slaves because he loved the slaves and didn't want to see them being enslaved anymore. He said, if I could have saved the Union without freeing any slave, I would have done it. So his MO, his motive was to save the Union. And if I could save it by freeing all the slaves, I would do it. And if I could save it by freeing some and leaving others alone, I would also do that. Lincoln carefully noted that that this represented his official position. I am having a ton of problem reading today. I don't know what that is, but that's what he said his position was. He wanted to save the Union. He didn't give a damn about you Negroes being slaves. He did that so that the South could not keep reaping all of the money that they were reaping and take over the Union. That's what he was trying to prevent. All of the riches that the South was getting off of free labor from the slaves. That's what he was trying to prevent. Had nothing to do with the love of Negroes. So you Negroes can get that out your head. Salakia, go ahead, sis. You got a question?
Not a question per se, but do you mind if I read this in reference to what you're saying?
Okay, go ahead. Hold on. Let me see here. Make sure I got you turned up. And then testing. Okay. Hold on, give me just a second. Bam. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Read nice and loud.
All right, so this was kind of Lincoln's motive for
Testing. All right, go ahead, read.
With this proclamation, he hoped to inspire all black people and enslaved people in the Confederacy in particular to support the Union cause and to keep England and France from giving political recognition and military aid to the Confederacy. That was his motive.
Read that again. You got to read that again. They got to hear that.
With this proclamation, he hoped to inspire all black people and enslaved people in the Confederacy in particular to support the Union cause and to keep England and France from giving political recognition and military aid to the Confederacy.
To the who?
To the Confederacy.
So he didn't give a... You Negroes, let's just put it like this. You Negroes in slavery were pawns.
Yes.
You know who the chess people were? The Union and the Confederacy.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the king and queen on each sides of the damn chess table. Negroes were pawns. You go read some of the stories of how Negroes was treated during the time of their military stint during the Civil War. See how they were treated, could not get shoes to march and fight in this war. They did not want to give them shoes and socks, man. What's that movie with Denzel Washington in it?
Glory.
Glory. Glory is talking about the Civil War. They did not want to give them men socks. They was out there stepping in church shoes and run over shoes. The one thing about a soldier is you cannot fight if your feet are bad. That's anything. That's a soldier, an athlete. You can't do anything if you got bad feet. I forget there's a thing that they used to get. I forget what the little issue they used to get when their feet would go bad. I forget what it was called. So they would always keep dry socks and stuff like that in the military. You know what I'm saying? There's a protocol to keep socks, but you had to do something. I forget what the feet. It was something feet when your feet went bad in the military. But these men are charged with fighting alongside of their oppressor. So they're supposed to have a common enemy that they're fighting against. But your oppressor's wickedness rusteth like iron rusteth so badly that he took time out to hate you in the middle of his conflict with his enemy. He took time out to focus on his hatred for you in the middle of war. Bullets flying. Cannons firing. In the middle of explosion and blood and dirt flying, he still had enough gall to hate you. And you steadily fought in that war. You fought valiantly in that war. You're the reason they won. You fought in every American war. Yet you still can't, they don't want you to have health care. You fought health. They have the right to be healthy. They have the right to peace and liberty. Black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, you fought in all of their wars, and yet they don't want you to have free health care. So much so that they would let some of their own fall by the wayside simply to keep you from getting it. That's called casualties of war. They're going to war against you so badly that they don't care if their own die. Some of them going to die anyway, shit. So like some of their own are going to be unalive anyway. No matter to us, long as those Negroes don't get health care. So like, that's all we worried about. Just make sure the Negroes don't get health care. I want you brothers and sisters who are not familiar to go back and just look at some of those articles, some of the things I brought up about Lincoln, about Trump, about the Clintons. I got one more for you because we got the guy that's in office right now, and I ain't forgot about him. Or his first lady. Not his first lady, but, you know, his vice president. I ain't forgot about them either. I know everybody probably was like, what about them? Or what you trying to say? I ain't just pulling out the stops on Trump. I'm pulling out the stops on Joe Biden, too. Let's get it. Joe Biden, I know y'all ain't forgot Joe Biden and Camilla Harris. Joe Biden used to be a lot younger. He wasn't always 173,000 years old. he wasn't. He wasn't always up there with dementia. He knew exactly what the hell he was doing. So let's go. Let's see. Let's go. Let's go down here and see what I can pull up. Dang, I ain't got. I keep forgetting I don't got that, and I be clicking on that the New York Times, because they be having some of the best captions. Lock that SOB up, Joe Biden, in the era of mass incarceration. They be having some of the best captions. It draws you right into their little deals. All right, so let's go. Let's go to this. This is a good one too. The American Presidency Project. I'm sure this is probably aided by Trump's campaign, but nonetheless, they rolling the dirt out on each other. You understand? And we're gonna use it. We're gonna use it. Joe Biden. So this is Trump's campaign press release. Fact: Joe Biden was the architect of mass incarceration, which, if it wasn't for Trump, we still know this. These articles have been out. It's not nothing new. So he's just probably going to pull up more dirt, something we didn't know. I just want to get you the gist of the topic here. And it says, Joe Biden worked with segregationists to write the laws of disproportionately incarcerating black Americans. Senator Cory Booker was right when he called Joe Biden the architect of mass incarceration. George Biden has just stoked America's racial division over the course of his decades in Washington. He wrote laws that disproportionately imprisoned black Americans. Biden was the chief architect of mass incarceration and the war on drugs, which disproportionately targeted black black Americans. Well, I ain't gonna say this is me talking. I ain't gonna say he was the architect of the war on drugs. You understand? That was what was his name? Not Hoover. What was his name? I got all these presidents in my head right now. Nixon. That was Nixon. He said that any president after him would improve on it. The war on drugs was never about drugs. It was always about the so-called Native Americans, so-called Hispanics, and the so-called blacks. That's who that was about. It was never about drugs. All right, so it says Biden was the chief architect of mass incarceration and the war on drugs, which disproportionately targeted black Americans. Biden admitted he is directly responsible for mass incarceration of the 1990s and 1980s, although the 1994 crime bill, which decimated black, I said although, Salakia, authoring the 1994 crime bill, which decimated black communities. Biden authored the legislation which sentenced Alice Johnson to life in prison for a first-time drug offense. I'm going to read that again. And I didn't misread that. I'll read that again. Biden authorized the legislation which sentenced Alice Johnson to life in prison for a first-time drug offense. President Trump commuted her sentence in 2018. Now, that's how what y'all don't understand too, y'all can go back and look in history too, how this is how president candidates do. They try to make the other one look bad by reversing stuff like that. Oh, you showing racism? I'm going to show I ain't racist. Oh, you won't hug the babies? I'm going to go hug the babies. Oh, you won't go into the black neighborhoods? I'm going to go into the black neighborhood. Oh, you don't eat greens? I eat greens with hot sauce. Just pay attention. Y'all going to catch all this stuff. Just keep paying attention, man. Stop walking around life with your eyes shut. Stop watching Usher and P. Diddy and all these nonsensical ads that's coming out about these people, and go look at what's happening in America. Go look at the problems that black people are suffering due to our oppressor and their systems. Go look at something that you can literally change on your own. Not some crap you can't do nothing but just spread the rumor. You understand? Next one. Biden worked with segregationist Senator Storm Thurmond to pass laws incarcerating Americans caught with a quarter-size amount of crack cocaine. Biden voted to extend minimal penalties for people under 21 charged with selling marijuana and introduced the civil forfeiture legislation, which allows the government to seize assets of citizens accused of drug crimes. Biden helped write the Anti-Drug Abuse Act, which created the 100-to-1 crack cocaine sentencing disparity and disproportionality targeting minority communities. Now, there's two different things there that we just read. For one, under 21 charged with selling marijuana and introduced the civil forfeiture law. Now, being so young stops you from making a family if you're incarcerated. They can get you early before you make babies because they know we were making babies before 21. So we're stopping the black family. I want y'all to pay attention. If you start realizing what's happening, you can see a total, continual, repeating method that they use. Destroy the black family. Stop the creation of the black family. Remember, we just got through talking about Planned Parenthood and the destruction and destroying of babies. Here we are talking about a 21-year-old being given out more time for marijuana, in which today they sell and they tax him. You buying marijuana from the government. So they want to give you extended time. And then not only that, listen to what he does. So let's imagine this guy here that's 21 was able to make some money. Maybe he had a job and was selling crack. I know a lot of brothers that did that. So like when I was in the world, that they also worked while they were selling drugs. So let's say his drug money and his dope money is separate. I got my check because I used to do that. You know what I'm saying? I used to, when I was in the world, when I was in the world, I would stack my checks up, try to cash them before the 90-day period. And some of my checks had more than 90 days, it was like 120 days or 6 months before it was void. But I would try to stack my checks up and save because I thought I was doing so I could tell that I was balling because I would save my dope money. You understand? And see my dope money stack up. It's cash, but I got checks over here. You know, I thought I was really doing something when I did that. So it says here that now you got the civil forfeiture legislation, which allows the government to seize assets of citizens accused of drug crimes. Now this brother has to lose all his money that he may have cashed checks. He may have been just coming from work, but got caught with a piece of crack or got caught with some marijuana on him. Now they want to take all his damn money. What about his children that may have been at home waiting on that? His girlfriend or his baby mama that had been dependent on him to bring that money home. You understand? Of course, this is dependence for his wickedness of being a damn, witch, which the Lord said he suffered not a wish to live. But I'm trying to point out that these oppressors have a consistent theme of destroying the black household, destroying black families, stopping the black family from ever being created. That's what you have to realize. Also, that forfeiture, they've been doing that to the Hispanic brothers and sisters on the borders in Texas. They do that like crazy. They take cars and houses. And they ain't really got to fight. All they could do, they could pull them over and find he got $9,000 in cash. They ain't found no crack cocaine or nothing. They did a whole documentary on that they were seizing brothers, Hispanic brothers and sisters, cars and homes and things, and would not give it back to them even after they did investigations and found nothing. These things are totally meant to destroy. You taking my assets, so let's say if I did have a little house, you gonna take that? You gonna take my car? If I go get locked away, at least my wife can go have a car so she can continue working to support the children while I'm gone. But you're gonna take that too. What did you do with it? You sold it. You gave it to, Sergeant so-and-so, and now him and his wife and family is enjoying it. There is no president that you're going to vote for that is going to help to fix the conditions of blacks, Hispanics, or natives. They've been working to destroy you before they were in the forefront of the presidency race. They were part of the think tanks to destroy you. So now that they're in the forefront and every eye is on them, now they're going to stand up and say, I'm going to take care of black people. I'm going to help Hispanics and Native Americans. That's definitely not what they're going to do. That's definitely the last thing they're going to do is help you. They're going to help themselves. And I know you guys saying, well, what? Get black people in office. Get black people in office. Well, let's go take a look at old Barack. Because a lot of y'all think Barack Obama was a black president. Hate to burst your bubble. Barack Obama was not a black president. And we're not even gonna go look. We're not even gonna take the time to go look at Barack Obama. Why even do it? You understand? We're not even gonna do it. Barack Obama was not a black president. Barack Obama was an African. So when you're wondering why come you wondering why, what's the brother's name? What's the brother's name? Mike Brown. If you're wondering why he got shot down and there was no federal investigation launched, if you wonder, I want you to understand every high-profile black murder case, either by way of some citizen or by some cop, Obama never picked up one of them, and majority of them happened on his watch. He never picked up one as a federal investigation, not one. But he cares about black people. You know what Obama did? He gave you a cell phone and homosexual marriage. What rights, what liberties did he give you? What education fixes? What money did he give you in order to pump into your educational systems, into your foundations for homes? What did he give you? What leg up did he give you? The whole entire world knows, outside of black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people, that Obama did absolutely nothing for black people. The whole world knows it. We're the only ones still sitting clueless. We have no clue that this man was tied in and that has nothing to do with us. He's an African. He's not a black man. He's not a Negro. He's an African. His wife may have been a Negro, but that was part of the guise. That's part of the trick. Confusions of faces. That's in the Bible. The Lord says that's what we would suffer from. Confusion of faces. We thinking one person's one thing and one person's another. What good would it have done? Let me get y'all to understand something. The presidents can't make the federal banks crack open their record books. What were they going to do to fix you? How are they going to get you help? You can't make them give up anything. You can't make them open up in their books. The Federal Reserve didn't have to open up their books to the president, to nobody, to the government, nobody. But you thought that you were going to get a black president in office, and he's all of a sudden he's going to go to every black neighborhood in the nation, every black city, Georgia, Texas, Houston. He was going to be down in there with us. He's going to hit Mrs. Jackson's, Mississippi. He's going to come to St. Louis and Kansas City. He's going to come to Little Rock, Arkansas. He's going to come to all the black places and fill us with revenue. And we were going to be prosperous. It wasn't going to happen. because he's not you. He cannot sympathize nor empathize with you. He, in fact, also is your enemy. For the Hamites, the so-called Africans today, help to enslave us by catching us and selling us into the hands of our oppressor. The Lord says, "Never trust thy enemy." So now let's get to the meat of this whole class, man. Who should we vote for? Let's get it. Nah. That was the question for the class. The class was named as a question. Who should blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians vote for? And I'm finna give you an answer. You know who black people should vote for? You know who Hispanic people should vote for? You know who Native Indian people should vote for? A just man. An austere man. A man that would put his brother's life over his own. There's not a leader in our communities that's doing that. I've talked to politicians. I've talked to people who want to be on the city council, and they all talk about what they're going to do for their family. They don't never talk about what they're going to do for black people in general, Hispanic people in general. They all talk about, man, this is I can help my family secure, generational wealth. I'm going to make sure my family, all right, that's what they doing. When you talk to them, they'll get down to the real nitty gritty. They think you're a street nigga. They're really going to talk to you. Because they think everybody's just a hustler. Just a scammer. Just an untrustworthy individual. I could talk to the thieves. I'm a thief. I could talk to the thieves like thieves. But when I'm in front of the camera, yes, we want to make sure that's what that sister, what's that sister's name over there? She going through it right now. Oh, they didn't arrested her. They was talking about she was spending the funds. She was the mayor. The black sister. She's been spending the millions of dollars in funds. She's over like a couple of different cities. What is that sister's name? Anybody know that sister's name? Put her name in the chat for me. If anybody knows that sister's name, I cannot remember that sister. Let me see if I can find her real quick. The sister. What is her name? Shucks. She done got caught up on all kind of madness. She been sleeping with some brother that was incarcerated. Now, of course, we ain't against that. You can have your husband or whatever, whoever. It don't matter what his background is, but that's how they're looking at her in that manner. But what is that sister's name? Let me look her up real quick. Give me just a second. Black Mayor. And they are on her tail, talking about she's spending money. She paying all her cousins and stuff for $50,000 a month for security and all kind of nonsense. Black female mayor facing major federal charges. What is her name? Is she over Los Angeles? No, I don't think that's her. Let me see. Tiffany Hanyard. That's her name. Is that her? Let me see. I think it's Tiffany Hanyard. I think that's the little sister. Oh man, they own her. Even her treasury and people, all the people that's she got elected underneath her, they not even messing with her like that. They all like, man, get the hell on. Like they don't give a damn. And then I think she just came out. I think it just came out that she's been spending money on, like I just said, lavish flights, steak houses. You know what I'm saying? While Village faces debt slams critic attacking a black woman in power. Listen, man, let me tell you something. I don't even trust black people in power. You know, Jesse Jackson at one time before he started running for president was all against abortion. 3 years later, when he started running for president, he seen that the women's liberation movement was a big thing and feminism was a big thing. Now it's her body, her choice. You are a coward. And you would lay in the bed just so you can be sitting in the Oval Office. Which I wouldn't even want to be in that place after all them damn oppressors been in there. You understand? You want to be seen as the man over the United States. You want to have Secret Service for the rest of your life, man. It means absolutely nothing. But if you want to know who to vote, you don't vote for Jesse Jackson. You don't vote for Al Sharpton. You don't vote for Donald Trump. You don't vote for Tiffany Hanger. You don't vote for Barack Obama. You don't vote for no damn Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. You vote for Christ. That's who blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans should vote for. Matter of fact, it's a law that we don't vote for anybody except our own. So let's get that understood. Let's read that for you. This is Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. Christ is our brother and our king. That's why we wear the shield of David. You see these brothers here in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, everything we rock has a shield on it. Why? Because we know our king is Christ, and he sits on the throne of his father David. The Dawada, that stands for King David. That's the representation or the spelling of King David's name. It's a king seal. When a king sent a message out, he would seal his message with a ring, and his ring was encompassed in his name. So he would stamp it on everything. And we wear it on everything because we belong to that throne. We belong to the throne of King David. We belong to Christ. We are the followers of Christ. Blacks, Hispanics, and natives, that is your king, not Donald Trump, not no Al Sharpton, not no Joe Biden, not Kamala Harris, not any of these shooting stars that you love to worship, man. But Christ shall rule over thee, man. That's who your king is, Christ. He set the example. He died so that you could live. Show me one politician that's doing that. Barack Obama wouldn't so much as say anything to the feds to open a federal investigation after them young black men were dying at the hands of cops. I don't give a care about what some devil or some foreigner had to say about what the young men were doing before that. Every man should have a just trial and his day in court. And if he can't get his day in court, you should investigate that situation until you understand the reason why that young man was unalived. But it ain't gonna happen because none of them would put their neck, none of them would wager their lives, none of them would put their tails in the sling for blacks, Hispanics, or natives when the whole system is built to destroy us. How you gonna be the leader but go against the system? I'm the leader, I'm the president, now I'm gonna go against the whole system. You'll be assassinated before 6 hours is up over your presidency. Within 6 hours, if I don't care if that man's coming from Florida, his flight's gonna land. They might even fly him fast if they know he coming to kill you. They might get him a private jet if they know he's coming to put you on your tail for trying to help black people. You understand me? They're going to get him there ASAP. You be dead. You'll be unalived in 6 hours. You think you're going to help black people. You understand? But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and end the class with that. And if you want to learn how to, if you want to learn how to return back to the Most High God and be a real follower of Christ, not a Christian. Christians are disgusting. They are not followers of Christ. They don't believe anything in the Bible. They don't understand anything in the Bible. They think right now I should be in a suit and standing back with my head and face shaved, and I should be standing up hooting and hollering behind some damn podium with a bunch of homosexuals behind me singing and clapping tambourines. But that is not the men of the Lord. Men of the Lord are stern. They are a steer man. They're stern. They're like soldiers and warriors. They don't stand up with suit and ties on and pink gator suits and shoes. That's not what we do. They are dressed to go to war against the demons that our people face. And with that being said, we're going to end the class right there. Again, it's the Isupk. Started out of 1 West 125th Street under Commander Jenny Yohana. And if you are not under Commander Jenny Yohana in the Isupk, you are not in the truth. With that being said, Shalom, Yahba, Shimi Asha, Brakatha, all the brothers. Shalom, Yahal, Shemar, Thamba, Shimi Asha to my sisters. We out.